jerks, it's time for Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 8, Episode 8, Mobius Dick. My name is Michelle Burlingame. With me are Tommy Roulette.
Or die trying.
Pete Woodward.
That's me.
And our guest today, the ever-reliable George Dunne.
Talking about dicks.
Which ones specifically? Did you have specific ones you wanted to talk about, or just in general?
Dick I'm talking about.
Just
Infinite
All of
colon.
them. That too. It's my kind of episode.
Oh, this was an episode. I don't know how I feel about it, but
Really?
it was
I enjoyed this
Right.
episode.
okay. I think
I've come on to so many episodes recently that I've just like sounded like a hater. Like I'm like, I like this show.
good. No, that's
Come
good.
on.
Did you like this one?
I really like this one.
Okay, perfect.
Yay.
Then I mean, and I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. I feel like we've had a few recently that I really enjoyed, and this one was just sort of like, it's
Right.
fine, it's okay.
This one's got a lot of good one-liners.
Yeah, this is a jokey episode.
Yeah.
I feel like they spent a lot of the budget on graphics on this one too.
Oh, yeah.
This was like
This
was
one, if they had like maybe not run out of things to write for an ending, which is kind of how I feel like it ends. This one could have been like a movie. They
Some
kind
sort
of
like cocoon
Yeah.
ending. Like
it got a little weird.
I feel like sometimes some of these episodes they start writing them and they're like, "Oh, this is really good," and
Yeah.
they're like,
Right.
"Oh,
Oh,
shit, we
shit."
have like 22 minutes or whatever."
I mean, it could have been like, oh, we're gonna get canceled again. Fuck it. Oh wait, no, hang on. Okay.
how
I
do we
guess,
get ourselves out of this one?
Yeah. What's the?
Leela does it. That's usually how they end now.
Well, we are enjoying a typical Cleveland winter where 2 days ago there was snow all over the place and it literally melted today in a pile of rain that is now
yeah, my shoes
flooding
feel real good.
my
Yeah.
basement. My driveway is like I was stepping on the giant paver stones, like giant concrete sections, and I could see bubbles coming up at the cracks. So it's all just completely
And it'll
unstable
freeze over
right now.
And it's
More
gonna
days.
freeze over tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
then-
it's
but
gonna
it's
be
gonna
like
get warm
29
again.
tomorrow, and then it's gonna be like 40 something.
Yeah.
On Wednesday.
My whole
or
backyard.
Thursday.
My whole backyard, where
Global warming.
Whatever day it
driveway,
is.
parking area. It's like 3 inches deep. I had to actually go through a huge puddle to get to my car.
Eesh.
Yeah, it's bad.
Good thing climate change doesn't exist, or we'd be fucked.
No, I know. I mean, the good thing is
global whamming.
the big body of
band?
water by us is at least downhill from here. Like the sea level would have to rise like 60 feet to get us.
I don't know, or a giant wave.
And you just ask anybody in Cleveland, they don't want to go to the beach anyway when it's normal. So the water comes up a little bit, they're going to freak the fuck out.
I know.
If everyone in Canada stood around their side of Lake Erie and jumped in it, and they created a giant wave, it could
that
take
how
out
that works?
Cleveland.
A mass suicide of Canadians by drowning.
They'd never do that. It's
Like half the country
too
just starts a witch trial.
it's too inconsiderate. That's not even possible. It's not even, and besides, they're building a wall that we're paying for.
Not up there.
Yeah.
Finally.
No, I thought that's
Is
how
it
works.
both? Is
Wasn't
it
that the new
going-
trade deal they figured out? I don't know. I figure if you put a wall on one border, someone's going to put one on the other. What goes around comes around.
And we'll pay for Canada's wall.
Theirs cost $10 billion.
Yes, but it's Canadian dollars, so it's really only like 7.5 billion. It's fine. If we were all lucky, we'd be probably dead and dissolving in a bathtub right now.
If we're lucky.
This opened with some really good jokes.
It got weird. Like, I feel like I thought he's talked about other crews before, so I don't know why the first one to get lost was so
Well,
special.
that's why Fry said, I knew you had other crews, but I didn't know you had a first crew.
Oh, did he actually
Yeah.
say that?
Yes.
I didn't write that down.
Yeah, because the other crew, there's the B one.
Yeah, right.
With the other crews.
And then, and they were just some folks that they were the best, but they were ones he picked up at a Home Depot parking lot. Which is
It was
so-
Homeless Depot.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I remember it like it was interesting.
And this is the first time that they start like referring to. I mean, they've referred to Zoidberg as John. You've
I think
learned
they
about it
just
before,
started.
but this is like there's a few episodes where they actually
He's like
They're
Dr.
really
John.
He's like
developing
Jo-
Farnsworth and his relationship a little bit more.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
I remember there's like 1 or 2 episodes like later down the line where it's like very Farnsworth and Zoidberg heavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he seemed to be competent back then.
A little bit.
Or at least
He had friends.
Which
And if you chose to imagine him with hair, that's your business.
but it was a pretty sweet dude, too. I mean, he's
good.
all like kind of an Eddie Munster cut.
Made me feel bad for him a little bit.
I always feel bad for Zoidberg. He's
Well,
a
yeah,
lovable
but,
schlub. So there was Candy, the raunchy by the books navigator, Lifter, and I didn't get his stuff. But
Devastatingly handsome robot lifter. I think that
then
was what it was.
Captain Lando Tucker, who had no characteristics.
He'll die trying.
That's a lot of commitment, especially for just being like a temp worker, basically. I've had a lot of reasons to contemplate death recently, and work isn't one of them.
Join the club.
Just, in fact, I switched jobs just because work wasn't a reason to contemplate death.
No.
Now I contemplate death for other reasons.
There's a lot of death in this episode, or at least pseudo-death.
Yeah, they all come back, basically.
Most
Spoilers, I guess. I mean, if you're watching the show with us.
Except for one person. One person doesn't come back.
Well,
We'll save that for the end.
yeah. So in the flashback, it did seem strange that only a mere 50 years ago, the Planet Express office building was like in the middle of the country. It was completely undeveloped, but it was still in the middle of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that occurred to me is like the professor looks younger, but he still would have been over 100 years old.
Yeah, how old is he supposed to be? He's like
160-ish.
Right.
So like he would have been like 110, and he's still pretty spry. Like, is it just?
Life expectancy is 1,000 years from now. Like, you never know.
I don't know. You're supposed to check out at 150 and turn yourself in.
Yeah,
That was
if
a
you're going
whole-
to the near Death Star or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt like he should have either seemed older in the flashback, or it should have been further back instead.
Because they
of 50
show him
years.
younger in the one where they go to the tar pit or whatever.
Yeah,
I
the
think he
time
was-
pit.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he was a bit younger. I think he was supposed to be like 70 the first
Yeah.
time he comes back. So that's when he like starts wearing. I think it was on that episode, actually.
Might have been.
But
He's a
Zuzu?
little bit older at the end.
Yeah, he is.
He's like 187 or something like that. I don't
God
know. Maybe
damn.
I don't know.
I can't even.
Yeah, I
tell
don't remember if
being-
that's
Can't
what
remember.
it is, but maybe 178 or
43 is killing me. I can't even imagine being
Well, it's
4
the
times
future.
that. Yeah,
Just different
Yeah, I know what you
medicines.
mean. I'm
And
going to be 30.
Your baby. 10, 9, and so on. that was maybe my favorite joke in the whole.
9 and so on.
Yeah, just that whole countdown of like, and skipping it. But it also launched like a Gemini rocket, like it was just straight up
Right.
out of the thing. And he had a whole flight crew there, like a whole mission control thing going on.
And they all looked at it like it was something new and important.
Yeah, well, because I mean, but then again, 50 years ago, I don't know. See, this just seems like weird retcon.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
like
like
it's like a
Space travel was
Simpson-y
not
flashback.
new. Yeah, it's just.
it did remind me of a Simpsons flashback. And the quote of like the one guy, like, "You iron bird" or whatever. I forget what.
you Iron Bird.
Yeah, that like. Do you think anyone in history of having rocket launches ever said that?
Buzz Aldrin, probably.
He was on
was
the
on it.
rocket.
Yeah, well, he would have been very invested in the fucking Iron Bird going up
thing
into
is-
the sky.
Buzz Aldrin punching out that
Zoidberg,
truther.
Zoidberg is already on Earth, so clearly there are already spaceships
I
that
know.
operate quite well.
Yeah, I guess for sure. And he's got
Maybe he
hair.
is.
I just
Maybe
like
he's
to
a mutant.
think they were so poor they had to resort to that type of technology
Like mission
to
control, yeah.
to be a delivery crew.
But the flashbacks they keep coming to with Hermes, like Zoidberg had friends. Like he's
was
just
a
so
different
hung up on it
time.
because it's like because Hermes hates him so much. Even now, he can't even fathom that prior to terrifying post-traumatic stress at the hands of Mobius Dick, he would
Right.
have been different. But ultimately, the mission they disappear in the Bermuda Quadrangle. Is that it? Or tetrahedron?
Tetrahedron.
And the package doesn't get delivered. But Stroll Widow's Walk installer is there to give the professor the nice Widow's Walk around the top of the thing. Have they talked about the Widow's Walk before?
I feel like they have.
Is that a real thing? I mean, I'm guessing that it is.
I
and
know
that's what they keep
Widow's
referring
Peak.
to it.
There's a Widow's Peak, which is actual like not the hairstyle, but
Well, I have
I believe it's like something built at the top of the house, so you could
Yeah,
look
isn't that
out
where
over
you
the
look over the ocean?
the ocean.
Peek out at people.
Yeah.
Well,
Why-
you wait for your husband to return home from sea, even though he's probably not going to. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Does
So I
he
guess a
get
widow's walk is probably
Just
because
around
it's a
the
circle.
top of a White House or something. Okay, whatever.
I guess you could call the top of a lighthouse because it has that walkway. That
I
seems
mean, we
pretty
could probably
unnecessary.
Google it. I'm sure it comes up. I just never heard the term before, which seemed odd.
Oh, look it up.
I've also never had grief diarrhea. I've had diarrhea for several other reasons, including joy. How about you guys?
Grief diarrhea? Oh,
Yeah.
God. I have regular diarrhea. I have it right now. And I'm almost always grieving. So, yeah, widow's walk is a real thing.
Yeah, widow's walk. Yeah, that's what it is.
Are there other types of emotional diarrhea then?
Is Chipotle an emotion?
I suppose it could be,
Oh, it's,
or it could trigger emotions.
it causes a lot.
I mean, when I eat Chipotle, like when I'm about to eat it, like I feel a certain way, and that's why I
feel
want
real good,
Chipotle.
You want
as
up
soon as
there
you're done, you're like-
masochistic?
This has never been a problem for me. I've never experienced
Chipotle?
food-based diarrhea.
Like, just said,
'cause
that's
you're
a
a girl.
challenge if I've ever heard one.
No, like, I've never
you've never had
eaten
food
something.
poisoning or anything.
Yes, but I've never had like I don't have a certain type of food that gives me diarrhea. Like I can eat Chipotle and be just fine. I can eat Taco Bell and be just fine. But like I could eat something bad and get sick, but I
Yeah.
don't have there's no like I don't really understand why people are like, "Oh yeah, Mexican foods give you the shits." Like never, not once in my life has Mexican food given me the shits.
I think there's probably a multifaceted angle to this thing. I'll try and break it down as I understand.
Are you going to mansplain diarrhea to her?
No. It's not diarrhea. So I think with say your Chipotles and whatnot, if you have a touch or more of lactose intolerance, if they put a big glop of sour cream or cheese in it, you go through that whole burrito or whatever, it will likely trigger a reaction. Like I can eat dairy and it's fine, but sometimes if I have like heavy cream,
I am
or sour
mildly
cream,
lactose intolerant, but
Yeah.
it doesn't give me the shits. It just makes me bloated and gives me gas. Like I don't get like ill.
well, not you, but lots
me
of people
specifically,
do.
but I guess.
So that's one. The
I mean,
other
I was
one,
referring to myself.
I made chili the other day and it gave me diarrhea.
Well, so then you've got the
Because you were supposed to cook the meat.
Oh,
then you've got
I thought it was cold chili.
You've got the beans aspect, which would tie back to just regular Mexican food or whatever. And that's a food that typically does give people gas or can give people gas because the way the proteins break down and release whatever. But then I think with your Taco Bells and things like that, I think that's more of
Poor quality.
it's not even about the quality of the food. It's that usually if you're going to eat it, you've probably ingested a bunch of other stuff that's going to make stuff come out of one end or the other or
Yeah,
both.
lots of heroin.
It could be, or you've been drinking a lot of whatever, and I think there's intersectional effects on the diarrheals of these sorts of. I've spent a lot of time thinking
No,
about.
that's fair.
poops.
I mean, my girlfriend had Taco Bell for apparently the first time the other day.
What?
Yeah, I didn't like. We went out for like the
Your
third
anniversary,
time for her
and you
birthday.
went out
Like we went out for her birthday like 4 times last week.
sparing no expense. We went
Yeah,
to Taco
I
Bell.
bought you 2 beers and a Taco Bell. But like she made such a big deal out of it, like because she'd been drinking, so she's like, I've never been to Taco Bell, and like I don't know what to get. I'm so
George,
intimidated.
You should have taken her to fucking
Crunch
rallies.
wrap, the end.
No, I hate rallies. I had rallies like
Trash.
a few
We are-
months ago, and it was terrible.
We're not getting into a discussion of fast food.
God damn it!
Not
Arby's
this
are-
time,
Arby's
Pete.
are
I'm
bust.
mad. I'm mad now. Don't talk about it like
It does
that,
seem
George.
like every time I come over here, I have Burger King though. Because I was gonna get Chipotle originally, but I was
Better get it
You know
now,
what? Yeah, I was
George.
gonna say they're gonna close that Burger King and put in a Starbucks.
good because it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it is.
That is a horrible Burger King.
Yeah.
Horrible Burger King.
Speaking of things that give me diarrhea, that without fail, eating at that Burger King has always made
I
me
thought you were
feel
gonna say
sick.
the root hosting those anti-vaxxers.
That's
that
that's
too.
a different kind of. That's anger diarrhea.
I didn't have Burger King until I was almost 24 years old.
Yeah, I've heard the story.
So like that's even more impressive than my.
yeah,
That's pretty
fast food is in general like I'm not like I don't understand why people make such a big deal out of fast food.
Unavoidable.
Like, it's
See,
gross
Tom,
and
I'm making
terrible.
other people talk about it. It's
I know.
a trick.
I know.
He's
We're
just
not
looking
talking
down with his
about
arms
rallies. We're
crossed.
just.
I'm trying
we're
to
just
figure out
done
where
with
we're
rallies.
at in this.
Grief
part with
diarrhea.
Burger
Yeah.
King.
Zoidberg comes back.
Still the beginning.
In the escape pod. and the doctor's like, what happened, Johnny? with the white hair.
Right. And now
it's
he
all
does
crazy.
have hair in the story.
Right. It's like fear hair that
They don't
grew.
ever, they don't ever explain it other than it's just fear hair,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't.
Well,
really...
Amy says, I thought you said he didn't have hair. He says he didn't have hair. He grew hair just so it could turn white because
And
he
then it
was so
happened
scared.
again.
Yeah.
It's like-
Is
It
that
happens like 3 times.
is that a real thing?
Growing hair out of fear?
hair
No,
turning white.
hair turning white out of fear.
Yes, traumatic experiences can have actually caused like
Have you ever read an
pigment
X-Men
to
comic?
How?
change. No one knows.
It's like
It doesn't like just all of a sudden change. It will start growing.
Okay, that's fine.
It doesn't automatically
I could
change.
I could see. I mean,
Because it's not like
that's more understandable than just like you go to sleep, you have a nightmare, you wake up with white hair, or
Yeah,
even
no,
in
no.
the Nightmare on Elm
It's
Street
never-
deal where she gets
No,
like
that's
the
not-
streak.
Right.
It's usually like a patch or like things like that. It won't like.
Is that what happened to the guy that used to talk soup?
No, that's a just a.
Greg Kinnear.
No, John Henson.
John Henson. That's just
He had a
that's
skunk
I think
patch.
that's like almost a equivalent of a birthmark.
Okay.
Yeah, like Doc Hammer. He's got like half white hair, half black hair. The dude who co-created Venture Brothers. Yeah. He's
That's-
also like super awesome goth rock musician whose hair like it already looks cool. Like it fits his style and it's just his hair.
It just happened
Natural.
that way.
But
It's,
with a name like Doc
And
Hammer.
it also doesn't happen when like you're scared all of a sudden. Then you get like it can
Yeah.
happen. It happens like from a traumatic experience. It's not like an
Like
over
Nadine
time
from The
thing,
Stand.
but not like
but that's all I was getting at is like having it go from like like the equivalent of it being bleached and the pigmentation of your hair changing
Right.
because it's dead. It's
Like,
just
why does it
dead
happen when
protein.
you're old?
Well, I think at that point, like you're I don't know. It's all happening to me now. When I figure it out, I'll let you know, George.
Okay, thank you. Put it in a time capsule.
Not only do they come in different colors, they come in different consistencies, and that's more troubling than anything else.
Like my diarrhea.
Yes, exactly. It's all the colors of the rainbow, like Skittles.
Same shape sometimes.
We usually need to have Tim Cornette on to have this much poop talk.
I quit.
I'm on the show.
The Bermuda tetrahedron. This got me thinking, and it almost ties into some of the stuff that we talked about recently. Like when I was growing up, the Bermuda Triangle was still like people were scared shitless out of that. Like it was a thing that like people wouldn't shut up about, and they do horror stories and movies and in search ofs and all this stuff about it.
Right.
Was it just shitty navigating equipment that people didn't have going through that part of the ocean where they're just like, oh, fuck, we're out of gas, crash,
Yeah.
we're done? Or
Might be some magnetism thing. I don't know. I was like really into it when I was a kid, but I don't really remember anything.
you never hear about it anymore.
Right.
And then when you do, I mean, like, it's almost more fucked for a plane to disappear now than, like that Malaysian Airlines one that went
yeah,
down
I
in the
forgot
ocean. And it's like they looked and looked and looked and looked and they could not fucking find it. People were like, where the fuck did it go? Because normally now, if a plane goes down, especially something that's like a commercial jetliner, like,
It's GPS.
they're looking to find it. Yeah. So I guess it's all bullshit. But the fact that they turned this into a thing and all they had to do was just fly around it.
Because who was the famous Bermuda Triangle?
Glenn
Was it
Miller.
Glenn Miller?
I think didn't the Glenn Miller band
Isn't
disappear
it
in it?
Amelia Earhart or no?
No, she was in the Pacific.
growing
Well-
up. That's what I thought
Right.
was that like when I think of Bermuda Triangle, I think of Amelia Earhart,
Right.
but that's just from some reason my memory when I was younger. But I don't.
She was
think
in
it
a
has anything
different
to do
ocean
with
on the
it.
other side of the world.
Well, I thought it too, but I mean, like, I think it's just one of those things, like
Bad Scooby Doo history or something.
mixing
They
up Anne
actually
Frank
think they
and Helen
found
Keller.
her plane off Papua New Guinea, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Fairly certainly her plane.
Mm-hmm.
And they even have a guy who watched it crash.
but he's a Papua New
Did
Guinean,
nothing
so
about it.
can't trust him for shit.
Oh shit! This is a racist podcast now.
Jesus.
No, that's not. It's not racial.
Posting on 4chan.
It's
Do it.
Yeah, next week we have
nationalistic.
Liam Neeson on.
Hell yeah. You giddy bastard. Oh, that sounded way worse than I intended it to.
Yeah, and you insulted those people and Italians all at the same time. Good job, George. Bring that Irish and
Yeah, I was
Italian
gonna say I
stuff
sounded like
back
my dad
together.
there for a second.
Oh dear. Zenithaf 3. What the...
I don't know what that is.
That was the planet that was making the memorial.
Xenotap?
Xenotaph
Yes,
3.
and it actually loosely translates to Alien's Tomb or Empty Tomb.
In what
So
language?
Xenos is Greek for alien or stranger, and Cenotaph is Greek for empty tomb. So it would be
That's sort of like a
Alien's
double
Tomb.
entendre.
a xenotaph.
Weird.
Yes.
Those Greeks.
They're so smart on this show.
I mean, sometimes I can't write an ending for shit.
There
though, as
have
we
been
discussed
so
earlier.
many
Just run
references
out.
to things
Oh, yeah.
so far this episode. Like, we didn't even go over Lando Tucker is part Lando Calrissian, part Charles Tucker III from Star Trek Enterprise.
Is that who the
He's
hell is
also
From
LT.
Enterprise, you know, the one everyone watched.
Yeah, I don't
that? Is
don't
that the
know.
Scott Bakula guy?
I have no
I
idea.
don't know. Lando Tucker is also like Tarangalila, but mutants flip flop their names. So LT.
Oh, okay.
Then Lifter is obviously Bender, and Candy is like Fry, like food.
Is she, or was she supposed to be like a cross between Amy and Fry?
No, I don't know.
Because she's like
I think
she
the
was
Candy and the
raunchy.
Fry one's a bit of a stretch, but it's fine. It worked. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, she's also got red hair and is like.
Right.
Oh,
She's also like sexy, so
Yeah,
it's like
I don't
Fry's
know.
not sexy.
It's true.
I'm looking at Enterprise, and I don't know if there's any Tuckers on here.
I think you're asking the wrong audience here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
You're calling out bullshit on the infosphere.
Yeah. There's Captain Jonathan Archer.
This
Doctor.
Charles Tucker III,
CT3.
Star Trek Enterprise, Commander Charles Tucker III.
Is this him?
Who cares? Let's move
Right.
on.
weird thing to
I'm
get hung
stuck
up
on it now. I
Did
just
you guys see the ELO
Yeah,
ship?
I see him.
like
It's
the
a-
ELO
Yes,
ship.
the ELO ship was good. I don't know if we're
And
quite
it's-
there yet.
Yeah, I know. But I
Yeah.
just want to bring that up. Because
Oh
I'm like,
yeah, I was very excited when I saw the ELO ship.
Oh, there he is. Charles Trip Tucker III. Got it.
Oh, the third.
I said it like 5 times, Pete.
I know, but I couldn't. It kept. Okay, so it had the actor's face come up, but then it cut off in the little boxes at the top. So I couldn't see which one it was until I detailed into their faces. So it wasn't just. I couldn't put the face with the name about the thing that I didn't care about.
He also played Officer Jerry in Kittens in a Cage in 2015.
Oh, I've seen that.
Tight.
Wait, what kind of
It's on a
movie
very
is that?
specific hard drive I have.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It is ukulele playing bad girl Junie Butler gets muscled into prison by her rat fink friends. Abandoned by all, she turns to the warm embrace of her pyromaniac cellmate as they plot to escape.
Directed by Roger Corman.
I can only hope.
Modern Roger Corman.
There's one season of it.
Oh, it's a
Oh, it's
show.
a show.
Yeah.
I thought that was just like a sex video.
Nope.
Okay.
Starring Clint Howard.
Like, what was it? Caged Heat. So it was like, that's what I was
yeah,
thinking.
right.
There are no frequently asked questions on IMDb about
Kittens in a
this.
cage. Is
Really?
What is this? Is the old.
so they go to pick up this monument, and like Leela's pissed off about a typo. First of all, which I
It
guess you
is-
would be.
Yeah.
In a thing.
I would.
I would be pissed too.
But the alien.
It's a weird joke for an episode that feels like a very rushed ending. They
Yeah.
spend a lot of time on this joke.
We're
And it's-
aliens, lady. It's a miracle we can even speak English.
Right.
There's
It's
an
a good joke.
apostrophe here. This says the Planet Express and it is crew. You some kind of moron? I think of that every time I see someone use an apostrophe in the word it's when there doesn't need to be an apostrophe. I really think they were just taking the opportunity to address a very specific like grammatical pet peeve that the writers had.
That's possible. I found out once that a guy who got me not hired at a job didn't know the difference between weather, WEATHER, and WHETHER.
I'll say
My
I
current
kinda fuck that
manager-
up every once in a while.
My current manager does not know the difference between then and than,
Oh, God.
and it's so annoying.
One is time and one is quantity. What is so hard about
Don't even say them. Like I don't understand. Like you don't say them the same then and than. they're two different words.
They're both
it's
Wonder
not
Twins,
like
but
two.
they're different.
It's not like two, and two, where it's TO, and TWO.
That one's
It's
insanely
then
easy.
and
I don't
than.
understand.
You mean you,
Also, your and your, they're spoken differently. How do you fuck that up?
you don't say Their, and Vera? Oh God.
There.
It makes,
There.
Weather and wither.
makes
Wither,
my-
weather.
makes
Bitter,
my, God damn it. So many things to be, I'm going to get anger diarrhea. We
Just
keep
go to
talking
the
about
Angry
this.
Dome.
Hey, welcome to the Diarrhea Cast.
Charlie,
Here's
heck
the
off
food
another
crew.
block of ivory.
I considered that as my opening line, but
That was good. I mean, just and then it falls.
Sounded like it hurt the elephant though, which I don't. Would it hurt? Yeah, I guess
Yes.
it's a bone. Yeah, I don't know anything
that's-
about ivory.
they kill elephants to get the ivory usually.
Well, yeah, but I
And it is
imagine
also bad for them because they use it for protection and,
right.
you know.
I think if the elephant would stand
Cruel.
still long enough for them to cut through the ivory, it wouldn't hurt because I believe rhino horns and elephant tusks are basically hair that becomes fused into a ossified thing. But I think it's probably just easier to hack through the elephant's skin and get rid of it than it is to like saw through an ivory tusk. And poachers are usually on the move.
Right.
That's my guess. It's not, I don't think it's like a
poacher.
tooth where there's like nerves in it.
I thought it was.
I always thought it was. A
I don't know
bone,
shit about
honestly. I don't
elephant
really
teeth.
know
No.
anything about.
Are they elephant teeth or are tusks?
That's what I'm
different from
saying. I
teeth?
don't know if a tusk is a tooth.
Let's ask
I mean-
Kevin Smith. He knows all about tusk.
He sure does.
You know what? Your teeth are bones that stick out of your skin. That's
Yeah.
fucked
Fucking
up.
weird. The bones that have like sensors in them.
Yeah.
Sensors? I need to get
Nerves.
a tooth
Nerves.
ripped out. Yes.
I just
And I'm
got
like-
a tooth ripped out.
I'm like dying.
I've
Like,
never had a cavity.
Yeah.
That's
I
probably
was
from not
dying
eating
and I
Burger
got
King
it
your
taken
whole
out,
life.
and I feel so much better now.
I went like 6 months ago, and they're like, "Oh, there's nothing here. I don't know what's going on. My fucking gum is just inflamed and gross." They're like, "I don't see anything wrong." Like, okay. Then I lost my job. Then I couldn't go back to another dentist. Now I just got my insurance again, so I got to figure this out.
Oof.
Like it's been going on for 6 months.
Just get some pliers, man.
I wish it were that easy, man. Like
Where's the tooth? Is it frontsy or backsy?
It's like the
a
middle,
tusk
it's like
is a
a-
tooth. A
Is it?
tusk is an elongated, continuously growing front tooth.
Huh.
Yep. So it's a tooth.
Crazy. Then maybe it's just
Sounds
the
kinda
rhino
right.
horn that's weird hair.
so, yeah. I guess
Rhino
it would be.
horn is
it would have
basically
nerve
like hair.
endings in it then. So yeah.
Which is like
But it's also
Like,
ivory.
the rhino horn is not ivory.
It is ivory, I thought.
No, I believe
Not ivory. was
ivory is
elephant
just
bone.
elephant.
Only.
Is it?
I
Yes.
guess, I don't know.
We should ask Stevie
They
Wonder.
should just
the
go to
next
an
time we
elephant
see him.
graveyard. When I like ivory hunters.
They use
Um,
rhino horn for other things.
Oh, they grind it up for boners.
Sex.
Maybe.
I think that's what it is.
You mean human horn?
Oh,
Call
call back. Well played. Why did Leela drive him through the Bermuda tetrahedron then? That's the part I don't understand.
Because they're
Well,
gonna get there or die trying.
Well,
What part of it?
But they didn't need. But they didn't need to.
Even Bender said, well,
Yes,
like,
they
you
did.
could just go around it. It's like, what if we're not? What if we are stupid enough to go into it or something like that? Like,
Well, they drove around. Well, they flew. Whatever.
Yeah,
Flew
piloted.
They piloted around it to get there, and then because Leela was bitchy about the typo, they weren't going to make it back in time for the memorial, so they had to fly back or die trying
Okay. Okay.
through the Bermuda tetrahedron.
I didn't even catch the whole part about the time crunch. That makes sense that she thinks
yeah, I
they're going
did
to go
miss that
through
part
it.
too.
But it terrified the Dials. And then there was the Tickle Me Elmo's fire, which is another callback to
St. Elmo's fire.
supposedly that happened a lot in the Bermuda Triangle. Like if you go back and read through apparently like Christopher Columbus's writings as they went through that part, a bunch of weird
Yeah, it's a-
heat lightning happened and shit.
It's like it's a real. It's been a studied phenomenon. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like static lightning.
Yeah.
It's electrically charged air, and you stick a mast up in it or something,
Right.
and then it becomes a conductor, and
But why call it Tickle Me Elmo?
because it's St. Elmo's fire, so they call it Tickle Me Elmo's fire is like a silly joke on it.
Never.
But then right. So then there's the whole lost ships in the spaceship graveyard.
2001.
I didn't identify a whole bunch of them. So what else was in there? There's ELO.
What I
There's
saw was
2001.
ELO 2001. There was one in later. It was Lost in Space.
The Oceanic Flight 8, whatever the fuck from Lost.
Oh, is
out
that in
there.
there?
Oh, is that what that was? Okay,
Yeah.
I was like Oceanic. I never saw Lost.
What
There was a
else?
bunch, but I just didn't like. There was too much going on.
There's the original.
There were
Planet
so many of
Express
them
ship.
and so fast.
Oh yeah.
Was there like the Boston one too with the ELO?
Hold on, I got my list.
Oh, there's a list.
Yeah, okay. There was Discovery 1 from 2001 A Space Odyssey, A Black Monolith from 2001 A Space Odyssey, Oceanic Flight 815 from Lost, the spaceship used on album covers for the rock group Electric Light Orchestra, an Omicronian mothership, or the Hubble telescope as seen in When Aliens Attack, the Satellite of Love from Mystery Science Theater 3000, the spaceship from Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space, the Jupiter 2 from Lost in Space, stereotypical UFO, Garmin GPS satellite, TomTom GPS satellite, the first Planet Express ship, an Apollo Command service module labeled Apollo 100, an Apollo lunar module,
I saw the lunar module.
the Scarab Beetle spaceship used on album covers for the band Journey. I remember that one. The Skylab space station, the guitar spaceship used on album covers for the band Boston, reimaginings of the Urquan Masters ships from the science fiction video game Star Control 2.
Oh my God! Somebody had fun animating that, or a lot of not fun.
In fairness, they were listening to Journey in Boston, so probably not that much fun.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
I know I'm in the wrong-
I'd probably pick both of those over ELO.
Go
Honestly,
fuck yourself. What is wrong with you?
I love ELO.
I love ELO. I love
think-
Journey, and I love Boston.
I think ELO is a little pretentious. That's all.
At least they're good. I'm not gonna get into a Boston Journey. Fuck.
Are you talking about
terrible.
pop songs? Because if you're talking about pop songs, the Journey and Boston wrote good pop songs. I hate Journey. They got hooks you can sing along.
I can't really speak as much to Boston, but I really don't.
Tom
like Journey.
Scholes invented all of their gear. He just built all of everything, created it. It's a whole thing. He's a nerd from like MIT who it's a whole thing. I don't care about any of them strongly. I'm just saying if I
Doesn't
had
sound like it.
if I had to choose, like I've got however long to draw all these 100 spaceships, probably be more in the mood from like Boston and Journey. Just saying.
So I'm curious why they like did that rope to the first Planet Express ship instead of just like floating out in space. Like, is that a reference? That seemed like it was a reference to something, but I don't know.
It
what.
might be like a Moby Dick type thing where they, when they get whales, they'd harpoon them and sort of like
Right, but they don't even show them like harpoon anything. They're just like
it's a tow rope just to tie it so it doesn't float. They don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know. Also, their spacesuits look like rain suits, like
Yeah.
raincoats.
yeah, because it's kind of like the whole sea.
Yeah, I think that's
Thing,
what I
yeah.
think that had. Then that must be a reference
okay,
to
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I love the reference to flavor blasting, and if that's what
Could
caused
it
it,
have been flavor blast?
I have a giant box of flavor blasted goldfish in my cabinet right now. And I like it for two reasons. Number one, for years I just bought the regular goldfish, and then my daughter was like, "No, we need to buy the flavor blasted
My
goldfish."
girlfriend does the same thing.
She's
like,
fucking right. Flavor
I've
blasted.
never had it.
I'll shut before you go. You'll see the difference. It's
What
night and day.
flavor?
cheddar cheese.
It's just
It's just got like cheese powder on it.
it's got it's blasted with
It's
flavor.
more cheese.
Okay, I'll try it out
Yes,
later.
look. I have eaten
Trust me on this one.
10 years worth of fistfuls of goldfish with a 10-year-old at home. Like goldfish have never been in my house for the last decade. I've
Fish are
eaten
good.
most
I
of
just
them.
never buy them.
But the other thing is like it's such an unfortunate thing, especially with the awful euphemism of finger blasting being out there, because that's the first thing that comes to mind in my head. And then there's this very subtle type of like grocery store sabotage where people make fake labels on things
Yeah.
and like they take
The
like a
obvious
box of
plans.
cereal.
Like the one I posted the other day, the corn hug.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But to do that with like, I just like to go into a grocery store once and just slap on labels that say like finger blasted goldfish. Just get like a whole shelf worth.
I'll get you arrested.
Why? You're not
Bestiality,
damaging
it's illegal.
anything. All you would do is change the label. Instead of just saying flavor,
Like children's food.
you'd use the same font, everything. The point would be to make it so inconspicuous that people wouldn't even notice, but you'd know. And that would be the best
Punk
part.
rock, man. Is that what a 40-year-old does for punk rock?
No. No, I just think about it.
This is my dad punk rock. I just fuck with these goldfish
Take down the
crackers.
man by making kids think about dirty words. And then there's a big
Take that soccer
that
ball.
McDonald's going to waste inside Planet Express 1. That's what
The
Zoidberg's
table was
thing.
still set for McDonald's value dinner.
And it was still edible.
Well,
That's cool.
still edible to Zoidberg. But I guess I don't think it would decay in the vacuum of space.
But then he took his helmet off. So does Zoidberg not breathe? I don't understand how that worked. Because
Maybe.
as soon as that happened, I was like, because
Yeah, and then he was cockatooling.
yeah.
Maybe that line that they shoved into it created a life support inside the other one.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I kind of like assumed.
Or
that there
someone
was,
also
like,
brought that up and they were just like, shut up.
well, right, it's cartoon logic. I'm cool with it. But yeah, I was just like, 'cause I assumed that maybe like there was some sort of atmosphere because they're in the ship somehow. But
I mean, for all we know, there could have been atmosphere inside the Bermuda tetrahedron, really.
but they were all floating around, so probably not.
That just means there wasn't gravity. If you go up in the Vomit Comet, there's still air. There's just no gravity when they do the parabolic
Yeah, I guess.
shifties. I don't know. I read today on the internet that gravity is a toxin, apparently, as far as some people are concerned, and then I just wanted to throw my computer against the wall.
I guess we're asking for logic from an episode where there's a fourth dimension.
Or
whale.
hippies.
Space
Yeah.
whale.
Just, you know who doesn't get cancer? Bats and the possums, man. They hang upside down.
God, so you just reminded me that that guy from the fucking crazy old coot from Duck Dynasty was on Fox News talking about how like he's never had health care and he's never needed it because Jesus Christ is his health care. And
So he's a Christian Scientist. What's his problem? He can shut the fuck up. Go read in a room.
go watch it and you'll be like, whoa, this guy's fucking crazy.
Oh, I don't need to watch
Yeah,
it to
we
know
all
that
knew
he's
that
crazy.
like 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah. But it's like next level. Why didn't they turn off they should have shut down the broadcast bad.
It was
It's
Fox
like
News.
yeah.
I think the bigger
Yeah.
question that's being begged here is, what were you doing watching it, Michelle?
No,
Is this
I
something someone posted?
I was watching something else and it was brought up. I
Okay.
don't remember what I was watching because I watch like every late night show
Gotcha.
on television, but
Okay.
it was one of them.
It was digested by something palatable, and then
Yeah, it was like Stephen Colbert.
they did the
or,
hard work.
Yeah.
Just get a load of this whack job. Right, and there was a giant killer space whale. Like that was, they all seem to know what it is. Or are they just calling it a space whale? Or like 4-dimensional space whales a thing?
I mean, it looks like a whale. It came out of a.
It had like little danglers on the back. It's sort of like a whale and a pilot fish, or isn't that what they're called?
Well, it looks like a whale.
Whales are mammals.
Yes, but the things with the bioluminescent,
Anglerfish?
is that it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like in Finding
It didn't
Nemo.
really have any. It just looked like a whale with skin tags. It didn't really look
Yeah.
like an angler.
Yeah.
But it was in space, so it's a space
Right.
whale.
Well, they don't realize it's a 4-dimensional space whale until they are chased by the space whale,
True.
outrun it, and then it just cuts through space and time
And they're impressed
catches
and
up.
being eaten.
Well, that's because Leela, they haven't been eaten yet. Because
No.
Leela is chasing them down, shooting a harpoon at it, and she's like, I don't know. I just assumed that whales just die when you shoot harpoons. At
Yeah,
them."
so that was Amy had a Serengeti flashback
Oh, yeah.
when
Giraffes are-
she spent spent the summer harpooning giraffes in the Serengeti.
Because they're the
Basically-
whales
And
of the
giraffes are basically land space whales.
I don't know if that's the truth, but I'll take Amy's word for it. I like to
Prove it's
look
not
at
the
him
truth.
go like a millionaire on a cocktail wiener.
Fry was good in this. They used very little fry, but what they had in it. Okay,
Yeah.
it was good in this.
Poop.
Hermes just had a lot of exclamations that were good too. Like, "You've been hitting the red stripe, woman." It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Was it Fry? It was Fry that said, "You're exhibiting symptoms of Illen."
I may not be a doctor, but you being big system. I can't even say it because I'm laughing too hard.
It's just like She really kind of loses it. Like, it's weird. Do you think it's just something that happens if you're the captain of a ship and you see a whale? You get.
It seems very un-Leela-like, but I think it just works for this episode.
She gets crazy obsessive about things, though. I mean, that's.
Yeah, but this one seemed very unnecessary, especially since she's already like late for something, and she's here because she's late. Like
that's true. So she's taken a shortcut, and.
This time it's business.
Yeah, I guess. I wrote something down and I don't remember what it is.
Well, Zoidberg gets out in the ship's escape pod just like he did the first time.
Yes.
And he once more lands in the Planet Express.
I was a little confused by that because it doesn't show him ever getting the escape pod. It's just like, well,
I think as soon as things get bad, he just takes off.
Yeah, well, when they were attached to the space whale via harpoon rope, he was the one that got out on top of the Planet Express ship and snipped it, and then he like waved at the whale. So he like wasn't in the ship with them when they got eaten in the front. Mm-hmm. So that's.
Yeah, I mean, I can
it doesn't ever show him get in the escape pod, but it's just kind of...
There's like an image that I'm just like, what the fuck is... Oh, okay.
I wrote down Emperor Frog, Space Frog, and I don't remember why.
Emperor Frog, Space Frog?
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about frogs.
Is that like a 3-way autocorrect fail or something?
Might
Maybe.
be.
I think, but see, there's still... This is before they even harpoon the whale, though, because...
Are you talking about Emperor Grog's grog?
They're drinking Emperor Grog's space grog.
Yeah, Emperor Grog's.
Okay, yes, that's what it was. And Leela gets all pissy because they're not chasing the whale, but they're like, you've gone from crazy like a fox to crazy like Fox News. Mm-hmm. Which,
topical.
You know, surprisingly still is. 10 years later.
Finish the wall. Finish the wall.
The north one or the south one?
Both of them.
Awesome. This is the point where I really was just like, the graphics are great. Like, there was just so much stuff on here where it was like really over the top, especially for the last few seasons. So was this close to the end of a season for production order, where they're just like, we got to spend off this budget?
I think for a while they thought this was going to be the season finale.
Okay.
So that would have made sense. It is.
It's like 15 out of 26
yes.
for like the production.
Yes, it was production 6, episode 15. So, you know,
they harpoon the whale drags them through the time portal. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess that's another thing that I didn't really get, because if it's a 4-dimensional thing, like we're all 4-dimensional, like we're in 3 dimensions, but we're also traveling through time.
The whale is traveling through time, and it shows like it is like the 2001.
Yeah, it goes into like the infinite time space.
Right. So I think that's really what it is. I don't think it's like, it doesn't even really seem like it's traveling through time. It's traveling through space.
But space and time are the same thing. Time is a flat circle,
right,
man.
But I've seen Doctor Who. I get it.
It's. I mean,
that quote being from Doctor Who, obviously.
That's from True Detective. So I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Or maybe True Detective took it from Doctor Who. I don't know. I just know that time is a flat circle.
Timey-wimey, wobbly whirly.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly, tiny wimey.
So they all talk in palindromes. Like, that was fun, having everything like go forward and backward, and everything gets psychedelic. And that was where Fry came up with the poop. Mm-hmm. Just poops. Poop.
Not a million benders or infinite benders.
Looking for Spacebergs. They're going to get some Spacebergs, which makes me think of some kind of hamburger that's space-themed and sounds delicious.
Nope, just giant diamonds.
Oh, but imagine a giant space hamburger.
What is it? They lost parts of Bender, and he's the most expensive utility.
Most of Bender fell out of the crow's nest.
He's the most expensive appliance.
A lot of Bender. So it was a lot of Bender fell out of the crow's nest.
And this is where like Leela goes fucking batshit bonkers.
That's enough out of me.
She's got that knife.
An OXO Good Grips cheese knife.
Cheese knife, yeah.
Which I have one of.
Does it work well?
Yes.
Do you find, so when you're cutting cheese.
Mm-hmm. Cutting the cheese.
I know,
diarrhea cast.
I'm trying to stay away from the poops at this point.
The poo crew's all here.
But
poo crew.
Do you prefer a cheese knife or a like one of the wire cheese cutters?
I karate chop.
Depends. It depends on the cheese.
Okay, so what's your preference for what?
Usually, well, if it's like a hard cheese, I've got a knife that actually has holes in it that say cheese.
Yeah.
And I'll use that one because it's easier to take the cheese off of the side of the blade.
Because there's air holes going through instead of adhering.
It doesn't like.
So that would be for
stick
like
to
a
the
firm
side.
cheddar or like a Parmesan or something from that way up. So something that's kind of
and then
tacky
soft
like
cheeses.
a Gouda.
Yeah, soft cheeses I just use because generally I'm spreading like a brie on a cracker.
Yes.
Like any kind of flat, not sharp knife. Anything that's
what
like a
would
paddle.
you use to like cut a nice craft single?
My mouth. Just
Ugh, you put it in your
shove the
mouth?
whole thing in my mouth.
Fucking disgusting.
What about
But yeah, I do like the wire cutter type.
I could see
And
using
I
that on
use
like
that-
a Brunos.
Yeah. Oh, I love Brunos. That's the
We need to
best
go to
fucking
Grandpa's
cheese.
Cheese Barn. And
That's my
stock up.
favorite cheese.
Yeah, it's really good. I just read about some crazy Viking cheese today.
Norwegian skiers eat Brunost when they compete.
Really?
Yeah, it's like their power food.
Does it give them extra farts or
Dude,
something?
I don't know. It's
Shoot it
fucking
in the air.
delicious. If you've never had
God, I wish I
Brunost,
could like fly with my farts.
it is the best cheese ever. Go to Grandpa's Cheese Barn if you're an Ohio
Yes.
I've never
person in
Oh,
Ashland,
God.
Ohio. Get you a block of Brunost, and if you hate it, then I don't know what's
Send
wrong
it to
with you,
us and
but
we'll eat it.
yeah, it's so to me delicious.
No, it's
It's a
delicious.
brown cheese. It's a little bit sweet. It's a caramelized whey cheese.
Yes.
So it's got like a kind of it's brown, but it's got like a really dark.
I want to turn this off and
nutty
drive down there and
flavor.
wait till they open in the morning. Like that's how excited I'm getting about that cheese.
You guys are
they,
perverts.
They also have a bacon cheeseburger cheese.
Yeah, it's pretty good too.
It tastes like bacon.
I've dropped like $100 just on
Let's
cheese
get a
there
Easy.
several times, and I've wanted more.
$1.
This is a whole. You just have to see, George. We're gonna kidnap you. And
Yeah.
Go
I'll
to,
go to Grandpa's Cheese Barn.
Well,
They're
there's
like
also a barn next to the cheese barn that's Grandma Sweeties,
yeah.
and it's all chocolate and candies.
It's
That's
If
my
that's
kinda-
more your
that is
more
my
your
kinda-
bag.
My bag.
so everyone but Leela gets eaten. While we're on the topic of devouring things.
into the Mobius colon.
Yeah, like
Which
that.
I thought this was great, and also kind of like the way that they half-ass the ending is very contingent on the part where they talk about the 4-dimensional bowels.
Okay.
Like they purposely bring it up to reference back to it later, and we'll get to it. But inside of the 4th-dimensional space whale is a Mobius colon that just is an
full
infinite
of weirdo
loop.
people and
An infinite loop filled with you can see Lifter and Candy and
Doctor Who.
the Doctor.
I'm sure
He's
there's
not
the
Doctor
Doctor.
Who.
I'm sure
he
there's
is
other
the
people
Doctor.
in
It
there.
does go by Doctor Who in that era.
Does he?
Yeah,
The-
every once in a while in the old stuff, he just goes by Doctor Who.
One of my favorite things in this episode was the operation of the professor shaving Zoidberg's head, like giving
Yeah.
him the haircut and just the multi layers where he's like snipping it off and then doing like the clippers and then doing it with like the like that was just beautiful.
That's how hair's cut.
I know how hair's cut, but I'm saying you don't do that on crustaceans ever.
His hair or his head was all smushy though when he was shaving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe he molts and stuff.
Don't create excuses for this. This is
He's
shoddy,
he's also
shoddy
had a
workmanship.
hard outer shell like 2 episodes ago when he was getting munched on.
Yeah, what's
by
Fassbender's
clamps.
stomach work again?
It's magical.
Pete, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
So he's got a magical head. Zoidberg's got a magic head.
took you 150 episodes to get to that point?
104, but yeah. But the thing where they wake up inside the whale, and Fry's like, we're like that Bible guy in the belly of the
Pinocchio.
whale.
Pinocchio.
like that Bible guy, Pinocchio.
Was that what the Pinocchio was referencing at the time, or was it just a common theme to get eaten by sea monsters?
I
and
feel like
stick
it's
around the
too
middle?
obvious of a reference to not be a Jonah and the Whale reference.
Possibly. I think
I've
it's.
never read
I mean,
the
I think it's
Pinocchio book,
both.
But
I just remember that when the Mean Boys turned into donkeys in Pinocchio, the Disney film, it was terrifying as
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Like
that
wants-
and the drunk clowns in Dumbo.
yes,
Haven't they cut those scenes out from prior releases.
Well, that'd be weird because Dumbo's already like 60 minutes long. It's like super short.
I wonder if they'll be
That
in
wasn't
the
one
Danny
that I
DeVito
watched.
one they're making now.
I'm kind of interested. It's the only one I'm interested. Oh no, Lion King looks pretty good. I don't understand this Aladdin remake at all.
I didn't know there was going to be one, and
Guy
all of a
Ritchie's
sudden,
doing it.
what?
Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
yeah.
And now Will Smith looks like a Blue Man Group.
Looks like a
Never
bloated
nude?
dad who just like dropped into a Disney movie. Like,
That's kind of what he does now, though,
no,
right?
he's not really trying.
No.
He doesn't have to. He's rich forever.
I love Will Smith. I
And
miss-
Larry the Cable Guy is playing Jafar, which is super
What?
weird.
No, he's not.
No, it's not.
No, they're-
Fuck are you talking
but
about?
if it's Guy Ritchie, like it could be
well,
like
no, the whole thing about this one is they
Jason
are
Statham
they're
or
casting
something.
racially correct,
Yeah.
except for Guy Ritchie.
Well,
Because
I mean,
why not?
Will Smith isn't.
But he's,
Right,
a,
but he's a
genie,
genie,
so
like,
he
that's-
doesn't have a race.
He's
He's
a
blue.
Jinn. He's a Jinn.
Genies and jinns are different. Jinns are usually evil.
I thought the genie. in-
Jafar would be considered a jinn, but I believe that's also there's a region thing with jinns too. I don't know too much about them, but I know that they are evil.
I'm not going to look it up now, but I'm going to look it up when we're done, George. I thought they were interchangeable.
I don't
What if
believe
you
they
spell
are.
it with
I
a
don't.
J or a
I don't
D?
know anything about this topic.
I just know there was a really shitty
Didn't
movie
even know there was a difference thing.
called Jinn that came out a few years ago. It was also like a really shitty horror movie. So
Was it about the cocktails made with it, or
yes, Jinn, the movie.
everybody's favorite juniper beverage?
It's just a bunch of 90-year-old men sitting around
Get
like,
in
I
the
like
bathtub.
this, and then one 20-year-old. It's like,
Speaking of 90-year-old men, there's one rotting on the side of this whale.
Lando Tucker. That
There he
was
is.
so disgusting and gross.
I
Yep.
loved it.
With his like his exposed knee bones and stuff. That's
Arm bone.
just terrifying.
Well, he's trying to talk to her, and Leela goes, "Wow, are you gross looking?" Go on. Like literally interrupts him to tell him that he's gross.
Well, maybe he doesn't know. He can't see himself.
Yeah, so the whale feeds off of obsession.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't ask too many questions. This
I'm
is
not
where
asking
it starts
questions.
getting a little
It's just
bit.
more like I like the story despite the fact that it is kind of a bad. Or I like this episode.
It's
despite its
psychic
bad
energy,
story.
man. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, like it's fine. It's just like once the end happens, it just like becomes bad, but still funny.
Oh no, my deal is doing the thing.
Yeah, because then like they're having the funeral for everybody.
With the banner that says Planet Express, 50 years of grieving.
What a pleasure to see so many miserable faces. That's kind of, I mean, that's basically how my life is.
Well, the popsicle guy, he reminded me. It was a Simpsons joke where it's a hot dog guy is following Homer.
Is it the hot dog guy or the Cloud Kalash guy?
The Crab Clavash is
Crab
from
Clavash.
Homer versus New York.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a hot dog vendor that follows Homer around and like follows him to it might have been Maud's funeral. It was a funeral.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, Marge is like, this is an inappropriate time. She's like, lady, this man's putting my kids through college.
I think I remember that one. So that must have been the first 10 years.
Yeah, it's like he comes back like 2 or 3 times.
That's beautiful. It's just so. I guess it really does just kind of literally crash to a halt at the end of this episode. I mean,
Yeah.
Leela if I understand it correctly, Leela overtook the whale's brain,
Yeah, because the obsession she had was not for killing the whale, but delivering the
package. Okay.
But if the whale just feeds on obsession,
It doesn't matter what the obsession is.
it doesn't
Like,
matter. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, they kind of just fucking threw in the towel on writing an ending for this one.
Yeah. It was.
And she even
weird.
looked like when they had the in the Beast of the Billion Backs.
Oh yeah, with,
Yeah,
with
the
all
thing in
the
the back
Evo,
missing.
yeah.
Yeah.
tentacles on it.
Sounds clever, but it doesn't explain much.
Right. It was like I liked is it the Wongs. She's like, oh, Amy brought so much joy and luck to our house. Like, might as well quit that club.
Shut up, Zoidberg. Okay.
He's just in the background eating a popsicle.
And which the popsicle guy gets killed when the memorial crashes out of the
Right.
whale.
Mm-hmm.
The only one who dies.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
So,
really-
Okay, so this is where I got confused because everyone else comes back out of the 4-dimensional colon, the Mobius colon. Tom Baker, Doctor Who is there. There was some other, like all the other crew and stuff, but then there was this blonde guy in a
That's Lost in Space, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I
The original Lost in
couldn't.
Space.
I just couldn't place him because he looked
That's a
kind of
ship that's
Yeah.
They drive by earlier in the
just like the blue jumpsuit, but he looked kind of shaggy.
Yeah, he's got blonde hair and yeah. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Okay.
Who?
The main character in Lost in Space.
Oh, okay.
I've only seen a few episodes, so I can't really speak to.
Oh, it's my fucking autocorrect on this was just awful. But the Scruffy chiming in with it. Yep. That stands
I
up
didn't
to
even remember
scrutiny.
Yeah,
Scruffy in this
so
episode.
he was. And that's what I was talking about earlier when they first see the Mobius bowels. Professor Farnsworth, after everybody comes out, he says they haven't aged a day. The whale must have some kind of Mobius colon that endlessly recycles time and space. And Scruffy goes, "Yup, that stands up to scrutiny."
At least they're
Like-
self-aware. I mean, you always got to have that in there. They
They're
get
always
it.
pretty good with that. Like, I like that they're able to like just throw these bullshit ideas out there and be like, yeah, it is what it is.
And then Candy hits on Zoidberg, and he does a full-on Fonzie with his hair, and she's like ready to go. Like I feel good for him at the end of this.
It was a great ending for Zoidberg.
Yeah. How do you think he fucked it up? Because I'm sure
He probably just emitted a smell like he normally does.
I bet
Gas.
she just rapidly aged. Like once she
They
escaped the
just
Mobius
went
colon.
Indiana Jones 3 at the end.
I wonder if that would work like that. I mean, if you're not in the time vortex, just because
if you're displaced from time, you're probably
when you are put back into it, you're still traveling at the speed of regular time.
right. So you're probably just preserved. Like if you think of it like freezing somebody,
You
or
wouldn't
cryogenically
accelerate afterwards.
That's what I'm thinking.
You wouldn't.
So,
You would just be ahead of. It's the whole thing like traveling, but near a
Like Fry?
close to a black hole,
Yeah.
where you're moving slower.
I travel
and
close
you
to
came
a
back
black
to
hole all the
Earth.
time, Tom.
You would be younger than everyone else
It's a Doctor Who episode about it
on the
too.
planet.
Is there? Is that the one with the angel statues?
Well, I mean, there is something with black holes in that one, but there's one where they're on a ship that's sinking into a black hole, and the bottom of the ship time is progressing at a different speed than the top of the ship.
This is all
It's a very, very good episode.
It
complicated.
is a really good episode.
I can't commit to 38 seasons of that right now.
I
You
wanna-
don't need to.
No.
Just pick and choose some episodes.
Yeah.
Find a doctor you want to watch and pick a season.
Who's the best one?
10.
Yeah, I'm a Tenet guy. Peter Capaldi has some good episodes though.
I stopped. I haven't watched it.
His last season
much.
was really good.
How's Jodie
Jodie
Whittaker?
Whittaker, she's good. Her episodes are crazy boring.
I haven't. I thought the Capaldi ones were pretty boring. That's kind of when I fell off. But
Yeah.
I
He's a
did
hit or
love
miss.
David Tennant, and I did actually love Matt Smith.
Matt Smith was
also.
great too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's too bipolar. He was my least favorite of the new ones, I think. But he had really good episodes.
Yeah, his episodes were really like story heavy, explained shit. Like
Everything was the fate of the universe, and it got a bit boring
It-
after a while.
yeah.
Like,
Who? Matt Smith.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of like
Flavor
none of this
blasting?
shit makes
There
sense
really
until
was.
the end of the episode because everyone's living time backwards.
And if it really
things.
made sense at all, we'll
Yeah.
say it makes sense, and fuck it. You'll
Retcon,
keep watching.
off you go.
They really did though connect a lot of 10 and 11 together, like story
Right.
arcs, which was I liked. So
Even 9. 'cause
Yeah,
9
that's
true.
started
Yeah.
the whole fucking
Yeah, that's
thing,
true.
like-
the whole river song.
but I felt
Yeah.
like at least the newest season or the first season of Peter Capaldi, I don't think they
They just fresh start.
like
pretty
fresh.
much,
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, all of Moffat's run, even up until the last Capaldi episode, like he really tried to close up as much as he could. And it's, I mean, God, I could talk about Doctor Who all day.
We
Start
could talk
talking
about that or
podcasts.
diarrhea, so take your pick.
It's a tough one. You have to give me a second to think. No, but yeah, Jodie Whittaker's is kind of a bummer, but the New Year's Eve episode is so fucking good.
Yeah,
So watch that one if nothing else.
maybe I will. I won't, but I might.
I know.
I got time constraints.
Daleks rule. I don't give a shit.
Well, we have George here promoting his show, Doctor Who.
Yes. I'm the new companion. They got rid of all that multiracial cast for this nice schlubby 20-year-old white guy.
That's what you need to fucking draw people back in. You know, if they're gonna yang, then you gotta yang. I think that's how it works. Thank you for coming back on the show again, George.
Thanks for having me.
You are, as Michelle said at the beginning, ever reliable, and
Yeah,
we
I live like
appreciate that.
3 blocks away, so it's hard not to be.
It does. Well, you'd be surprised. We've had just because of circumstances, canceling guests has been a
trust me, I
recurrent
know.
thing. Yeah, it's weird. Again, I think the last one canceled because of tooth pain, so that's a recurring theme. But as you mentioned, you've
I've
got
been
a
living
fucked
with
up
it
tooth
6
too,
months.
and you're still here. So, we'll
I can
be
watch
certain to
cartoons
give them
with
some shit
tooth pain.
for that. Anything to plug or discuss?
Not really. I got my podcast, Second Shot, but we haven't done anything in since like Halloween, I think.
Go listen to the old episodes and catch
Yeah.
up. So when a new one comes out, you're
What is
ready.
the last movie you saw?
Last movie I saw. I went to go see How to Train Your Dragon 3. I got advance tickets to go see that.
Nice.
That movie is great.
Yeah.
If you like the other ones, it's real good. I cried a lot.
I still haven't seen 2, but I loved the first one.
2 is very good as well. I think 3 might be my second favorite. But
I cry all the time, so I don't
oh,
know.
join the club, man! Like I'm, like
I just mean
cried during that Doctor Who episode. So it's fine.
I just mean in general. Yeah, it's just not just because of movies.
Watch
just,
Paddington. That's what I'm gonna. I'm just gonna go out and everybody. Everybody I talk to, just watch
I
Paddington. and
can't.
Paddington
You
2.
know why? Because of the earwax scene. It's so revolting. It makes me
Right.
sick in the stomach.
That's pretty gross. But like the rest of the movie and the second one is.
So I could just
incredible.
like cover up and be fine.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds. It's just like,
No, it's just such a revolting.
it's like
image.
I like Star Wars, but I just don't want to watch that like one scene where he's drinking blue milk.
Oh, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. But earwax is
Yeah, the earwax thing's pretty gross, but like the rest of the movie's amazing,
okay.
and the second one's even better.
So go watch Paddington.
Go watch children's films because I'm almost 30.
Yeah.
Oh dear. On that note, we've come to the end of another Slurmcast episode. We've done it.
Yeah.
We're
I don't know by the time this comes out if or not, but Wizard World is here or coming or
Yeah.
passing.
March,
I don't know when this is coming out, but
a couple weeks.
couple weeks.
Maybe
so.
before. Go to Wizard World, or if you're in Cleveland, you can go see if they're still giving away tickets at
Cleveland.
Voodoo Monkey, right?
Yeah,
They'll probably be
we're
gone,
running.
but-
Yeah, I mean, who knows when this comes out? So
Yeah. We could just put it out tomorrow just to fuck with people and skip the episode in the middle. You never know. Yeah, that sounds good.
cool.
Slurmcast.com has all of our episodes and links to our TeePublic shop. Tom finally fixed that, I think, so the lady from TeePublic can stop bothering him every 3 hours.
Somebody else fixed the link, I think.
It wasn't
It was me.
No,
I don't
It's a
have
space
the
whale.
login for.
Yeah.
no, I meant for on the Libsyn page, but on the podcast, yeah.
No.
Okay, maybe it was me then,
Okay.
because I went to go fix it and it was already
Take
fixed, and I was
credit.
like, oh, I must have done it.
All right.
Yeah.
Slurmcast
wasn't me.
Pod on Twitter and Instagram, Slurmcast on Facebook. You can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. Call us 216-438-1077. Write a review of some kind on iTunes. That would be really great if you rate and review us there.
Oh,
And,
I want my prize. I'm the 100,000th listener.
Oh, you get some flavor blasted goldfish, George.
As far as I can tell, I'm the only listener. but-
Finger blasted.
You
Yeah,
get
I
some
get finger blasted. Hell yeah.
finger blasted, flavor blasted goldfish, which it's a secondary process after the first flavor blasting, and it's kind of involved. We'll talk about it on the next
Tuesday
episode
night. I'm up for most things.
instead of the diarrhea talk. Have a great week or 2 weeks or whenever, everybody. Bye.
Bye.